Listen closely. This message is not a gentle tap at the window. It is the bell that tolls when a threshold has been reached. I am Michael. I stand as an emissary of heaven's highest order, a sentinel whose sword is truth and whose voice is a trumpet for those who will hear. There are moments in a life when time compresses, when every breath seems laden with consequence, when the world narrows until all that remains is a single, burning point of choice. This is one of those moments for you. The words you read now are not idle. They are urgent. They are meant to cut through the noise that has settled upon your heart like dust. There are only 2 minutes left, 2 minutes before a pivot in your life, 2 minutes before a decision is sealed, 2 minutes in which faith can tilt the scales. You may think the police siren below your window is the only alarm you need to heed. You may believe the blue lights and the authoritative voices of men and women in uniform are the sole harbingers of order and justice. Listen, both are true. The earthly authorities keep streets safe. They answer the call when danger breaks into the world. But there is another patrol at work, one that moves in the unseen currents of destiny. I stand at the intersection of the divine and the temporal. My presence does not diminish the role of the officers who walk the beat in your city, rather, it aligns their urgency with the higher urgency of heaven. When the world counts down the last 2 minutes, there is a heavenly alignment that either meets you with protection or withdraws to honor your free will. This is the hinge on which fate turns. I do not speak to frighten you. I speak to awaken you. The clock is real. The seconds matter. In these fleeting moments, the enemy flutters like a moth at the lamp, hesitant, drawn to the light but eager to cast shadows. He tries to sell you the lie that you have plenty of time, that decisions can wait until tomorrow or next week or when the fear has passed. He whispers that what you must say can be left unsaid, that what you must do can be postponed. Do not listen. The world is not owed the delay of your obedience. The people you were meant to save with your honesty, the promises you were meant to keep, the prayers you were meant to utter, these things cannot always be retrieved once the moment has passed. You may be asking, how can an angel speak of police? How can a celestial being describe the ticking urgency of human authorities? Understand this, in the ordering of creation, spiritual and physical realities are braided. When a siren wails, it threads through heaven's corridors and calls attention in ways you do not fully understand. Sometimes that siren is the sound of an intervention, a converging of forces so that something lost is found, or so that deception is exposed. Other times it is the lament of consequences undone by neglect. You stand at one such crossroads. The choice before you is not trivial. It concerns integrity. It concerns truth. It concerns the protection of those you love and the preservation of the path God has laid before you. If there is something you have hidden from the light, an affair of the heart, a decision made in haste, a debt left unspoken, now is the time to bring it into the open. I do not demand confessing to strangers. I demand truth be returned to its proper place. Speak to those who will be affected. Regret postponed is regret multiplied. There are courts of law and there are courts of the heart. Both can convene at once. The wheels of human justice sometimes roll without mercy when the moral ledger has been ignored. But mercy is not denied to those who turn while there is still breath in their lungs. 2 minutes remain to turn the tide. 2 minutes to step from the shadow and into the shelter. Perhaps you fear exposure because you believe that exposure will destroy you. You imagine the worst, the loss of reputation, the severing of relationships, the public shame. I tell you plainly, destruction is not the child of truth. Destruction is the child of secrecy continued in defiance of what is right. When truth emerges, when it is met with humility and a willingness to make amends, a strange alchemy occurs. What you thought would sound your ruin may, in fact, be the beginning of freedom. You will not be spared the consequence of your actions, but you will be spared the continued imprisonment of silence. Confession is not capitulation. It is resurrection. It is the moment the grave is pried open and the light that was inside you is allowed to breathe. Listen to me as one who has stood at the thresholds of empires and the bedside of the betrayed. I have watched whole lives pivot on a single utterance. One name spoken, one apology made, one truth told. These have rerouted destinies more volatile than armies. If you will, hold your hand over your heart and feel the racing pulse. That is the metronome of your decision. It aligns with the heart of the one who fashioned you. Every beat is a summons to courage. The police may knock, the world may call you to account, but what I ask is that you meet the external with the inner. Align your words with the posture of contrition or bold confession that your soul already knows. I know your fear. I know the stories you play in your head. You imagine the dialogue before it is spoken, you craft defenses in the theater of your mind, and you rehearse ways to soften the blow of truth. Many have stood where you stand, and many have chosen disguise instead of face. Consider the one who slumbers with a lie heavy on their chest. Night after night the lie presses down, and sleep becomes a brief truce. But still the moral gravity of the truth calls them, and finally, when the warning bell rings, often in the form of a siren, an unexpected encounter, a call from someone you had hoped would not reach out, their disguise slips. The public sees only the fall. Few see the courage of the heart that finally uncloaks. You are called to be part of the minority who uncloaks before the fall. And what of those who have wronged you? There are times when the police are literally involved, when harm has been done against your body, your property, your dignity. When that is true, you must seek earthly recourse. The law is the sword that holds the line in society. It is not dishonorable to call in the authorities when safety is at stake. There is a divine rhythm in putting things where they belong, civil transgressions to the magistrate, moral transgressions to the sanctuary of the soul. Yet even in the seeking of justice, let mercy shape your steps. Justice without mercy hardens into vengeance. Mercy without justice softens into neglect. Stand for what is right, but do so with a spirit that knows the difference between righteous anger and animal retaliation. If you are walking in fear because of threats, know this: there are legions assigned to hold the borders of your life. I am not sent to frighten you with the image of law enforcement. I am sent to tell you that you are watched over by layers, human and divine, prepared to intervene. But we cannot intervene where the door remains locked from within. You must open it. You must give permission for rescue. 2 minutes. Believe me when I say that they are not trivial. They are hours in compressed form, loaded with potential. Pause. Breathe. Choose. There are practical things to do in these 2 minutes. They are simple and ordinary, they fit into the rhythm of human life. Make the call you have been avoiding. Send the message you have been drafting and deleting. Walk across the room and place your hand in another's. Name the hurt, offer your apology, or ask the question you have been swerving around. If the danger is physical, lock the door, call the number that links your street to safety, use the flashlight and the key you keep on the ring. These are not glamorous acts. They are not the explosions of biblical drama. They are the small acts of courage that form the backbone of salvation. Do not confuse timbre and tone. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the action that complies with truth despite fear's loud volume. You do not need to feel heroic to act heroically. The faintest heartbeat of obedience matters to heaven. A single step toward transparency, even if it shakes like a leaf, changes the spiritual geometry around you. The landscape of your life rearranges itself when you step forward. Where once there was a canyon of isolation, now a bridge begins to appear. I have seen those bridges build themselves from the mere act of someone saying, "I was wrong." Do not underestimate that sentence. It is a key that opens more doors than you can imagine. Perhaps someone reading this is about to sign a paper, about to speak in court, about to take a breath before a confession. I hear you. In those 2 minutes, place your palm over your heart and speak a prayer so small it need not have words. Lord, give me the courage to be honest. Give me the voice to do what is right. I will stand near you as you pray, not to coerce you, but to stand as a witness, to steady the hand that trembles, to make a place for mercy to move. If you are tempted to flee, remember that fleeing often multiplies the harm. Return instead. Face what you must face. The walls are not as great as they appear once you are within their shadow. There will be those who say, "This is manipulative, an angel telling me to confess so I will be punished." No, my words do not aim to manipulate. They aim to invite. The invitation is not to ruin but to restoration. Restoration is often painful. It is frequently costly, but the cost of avoidance is greater in time and in soul. Imagine a house with a slow, silent leak behind the wall. For a while the leak is invisible, mold grows and the beams weaken. If you call a repairman while the leak is small, the repair is simple. If you wait until the beams collapse, the repair becomes demolition. The same is true of conscience. Attend to the small leak now. You may be the one who needs to deliver a warning. Perhaps there is someone close to you acting recklessly, about to make a decision that will entangle others in harm. The police can intervene where a legal breach is imminent. But what of the heart that can be turned by an honest word? You have influence that human institutions do not possess. You can speak into a soul and shift a trajectory. Do not delay that word. Do not think yourself small. The voice that refuses silence in a critical hour is often the voice that saves more than one life. 2 minutes may be all you need to plant a seed of reason in another's ear, to say what must be said so that catastrophe is averted. There is also a large, tender truth you must reclaim. You are not the sum of your worst hour. You are not irredeemable. The Almighty looks at the tangle of your life and sees not only the knots but the potential for untying them. Redemption does not erase the past, it rewrites your standing before the author of mercy. But redemption requires a posture, an acknowledgement that you cannot heal alone. This is not about external performance, it is about internal alignment. When you align your mouth with your heart, when your actions reflect the truth you know in your bones, you step into the current of healing. I know the names of the burdens you carry. I have gathered them like coals and held them to the light. Some of these burdens are not yours to carry. Some are the projections of others, their shame, their fear, their bitterness. Lay down what is not yours. For what remains that is yours, accept responsibility with the humility that transforms guilt into growth. Responsibility is the first rung on the ladder of restoration. Humility is the ladder itself. Do not expect an immediate resolution to every consequence. Some outcomes must be endured. Some relationships must be rebuilt slowly, stitch by stitch. But endurance, when entered with a repentant heart, becomes the forge in which character is formed. The sentence passed by society may be stern, but it is not the final testament of your story. There is an author whose pen continues to write Eve. When human hands have dropped the quill, he is patient and just, not lax, but merciful. He delights in turning what was meant for harm into a tableau of grace when the human heart returns. In these fleeting instants before the sweeping hand on the clock marks the closure of 1 hour and the beginning of another, time itself feels like it holds its breath with you. There is an intensity in knowing that decisions can be made, that directions can shift, that love can be spoken, and truth can be chosen in so small a span. To surrender here is not to admit defeat but to acknowledge the unseen current of grace that carries those who cease striving in their own pride and instead lean into the higher design. This surrender is not to despair but to the process that will ultimately repair what has been torn, to the truth that is able to heal what no human effort could mend. It is easy to believe that silence and secrecy protect us, but more often they imprison us in unseen chains. Fear, the fear of what others will say, of what will be lost, of who we might disappoint, can paralyze the soul until it forgets that love is still possible. Love thrives most powerfully not when you maintain the image, the carefully constructed mask you wear to be acceptable, but when you strip the coverings away and let those who matter see the reality. They deserve that choice, to love you not for a theater you present but for the flawed, striving human you are. And though it feels terrifying, though shame tells you that you are safer remaining silent, remember that shame is a cruel keeper. It does not protect life, it hides life away from its necessary healing. A healthy reconnection cannot grow in the soil of half-truths and concealment. It comes when you dare to hold your trembling heart open and let light touch it, no matter the cost. Even in the darkest night, silver linings stretch across the horizon, though they may be invisible to your present eyes. What feels now like a cliff of terror, a future of collapse, may prove to be a surprising place of construction. That confession you fear, the one you imagine will undo you, may instead birth relationships rooted in honesty, free at last from double lives and silent pretenses. The accountability you dread, which feels like a cage, may in reality be your scaffolding, the structure without which no building could rise again after ruin. And even the consequences you dread most, the loss of opportunities, the facing of justice, the weight of systems designed to correct, may shock you awake and redirect your feet toward ground far safer than where you now tread. Do not despise what feels like loss. Heaven's economy functions differently than Earth's. What looks like subtraction here may become multiplication in another dimension. What feels like humiliation may prove to be liberation. I have witnessed souls lose everything they thought mattered and then, in the steady discipline of rebuilding, discover clarity they had never known, generosity they had never held, compassion they had never cultivated. Out of ashes, an identity emerges lighter, bolder, and truer than before. But some decisions cannot wait until you feel ready. If you read these words and you know right now that there is someone in danger, hesitation cannot be your posture. Place the call. Do not wait for angels when heaven has placed a phone in your own hand. We do not replace the channels of human protection, we augment them. Your action, your clear words, your courage to make the contact may mark the line between suffering prolonged and safety regained. Do not worry if your words are awkward, if your knowledge feels scattered. Simply give what you know, names, places, suspicions, details as small as the color of a door or the sound of a voice. Those trained to respond know what threads to pull, know how to weave protection from what you provide. Your choice to act makes you part of the saving work, and even as you speak, do not forget that your words can also rise higher. Let them lift toward heaven as prayer. Whisper, "Protect us," and know that I will carry that simple prayer upward like a banner unfurled, presented before the throne where mercy meets power. If the weight is so great that words will not leave your lips, if fear grips your throat and silences you, then let even silence become an offering. 2 minutes may remain. Let your silence be not avoidance but a vow that you will act the moment strength is afforded. A vow that you will tell the truth, no matter how late. Write it down where no eyes but yours can see. Whisper it to your own soul. Carry that promise like a seed packed away, waiting for the season when your courage will plant it in the soil of reality. That seed will not vanish. It will wait, until the day growth is demanded. No promise made in the quiet reaches of the heart is wasted when it leans toward honesty. When the clock turns, whether you have spoken or not, remember this: you are not abandoned. This turning of the hour does not turn away the presence that watches with love. If you choose truth, you will find a companion birthed from that very choice. Truth will steady your steps, even through storms, because truth does not waver as lies do. But if you choose avoidance, know this: consequences are patient. They wait at doors until you answer them. You cannot outrun reality forever. It will call to you until you respond. But even then, even after delay, mercy is still waiting. Lift your face, however late, and mercy will meet you. Never imagine that heaven shouts condemnation or turns its back in disgust. No, I will not shame you. I will not scream judgment. I stand at the threshold, hand extended toward the handle, waiting for the moment you finally reach. If you stumble to the door at last, weary and ashamed, I will open it, and you will find not a void but the embrace of welcome. Sometimes the mightiest actions in life appear deceptively small: a text of apology written in shaky words, a phone call in the late hours of night, a letter sealed and posted though your hand trembles. These become seeds of transformation, greater than they seem. Never underestimate the power of humility. When your knees bend low, heaven itself draws near. There is a strength in choosing to speak when you fear your voice will crack. Broken voices often carry the most authenticity. There is power in naming what is wrong, in naming your part, and in offering to repair to whatever degree is possible. Do not measure the success of such confessions by the applause of the world. Applause may not come. Silence more often will. Some will respond with anger, some with disappointment. There will be moments when the honesty costs you, relationships fracture, opportunities close, pain spreads wide. But endure that season knowing that pain has a purpose, an exquisite purpose when it is endured as part of correction. Like a bone that must be set, the process hurts, but the setting ensures healing. Endure, then, with hope, because hope is not fanciful thinking. Hope is that deliberate, steel-hearted choice to continue, fed by small acts of faithfulness, by contrition extended again and again, by resolve to persevere. Hope does not deny the storm. It looks into the storm and says, "This will not last forever. There is something beyond this. So hear me, because the clock continues its steady march. 2 minutes remain. 2 minutes, and yet in those 2 minutes eternity invites you to an altar of decision. Mercy is not only a thing postponed to a distant tomorrow. Mercy is alive here, in this present breath, waiting for the opening you give it. Do not gamble your fragile future, hoping to delay courage until tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. The kindness you could extend, the truth you could confess, the protection you could give, must not remain idle when this moment stands ready. The call you must make it now. The confession you have held back, speak it. If danger looms outside your door, bolt it shut. If reconciliation waits in someone's presence outside, open it. Choices crowd you, yet one rule will simplify them all. Always choose life over convenience, truth over temporary comfort. For the small, sacrificial choice you offer today will echo decades into the future with blessings you cannot foresee. But cowardice leaves its own echo. Which sound will your life give off through time? Summon alone. Do not misunderstand this patience for indifference. There is a readiness in the heavens that is practically breathless to meet your smallest movement. The moment you whisper a truth, a company rises with you, angels, mercies, unseen hands, and they arrange the world around that whisper. Your faint yes is a signal that sets an army in motion. Even the smallest honesty rings like a bell in eternity and summons responses that reweave your story. You are never merely private in your choosing. Your courage sends ripples through the unseen. This is why your smallest decisions are never small to us. So now, as the last seconds narrow around you, breathe deeply. Breathe as if the air itself were a sacrament. Let each inhalate ion be an intake of courage. Let each exhalation be a release of fear. Do not wait for perfect clarity. Perfection is not the gateway, sincerity is. Pen your lips, however fearful. Speak the one true thing you can manage, even if it is only, "I don't know," or "I am sorry," or "I need help." These words, humble and raw, are keys. Act, however trembling. One step is enough to begin. Movement matters more than polish. When you step, do so knowing you are accompanied. I do not stand distant, I stand immediately beside you, and the multitude that watches leans for reward like breath held at a signal. The author of your existence, the one whose mercy writes endings different than your fears, holds out arms that are both strong and tender. You will be met, not merely observed. The mercy that greets you is active. It mends, it clarifies, it restores. It rearranges circumstances and mends hearts. It is not a vague sentiment. It is the deliberate work of a presence that delights in residential queue. These 2 minutes, fleeting as they seem, are not trifles. They are an altar where decision and destiny intersect. Do not despise this small window. The echo of what you decide here will reverberate into decades you have not yet walked. It will alter relationships, change habits, and redirect the energy of your life. Choose carefully, yes, but do not be paralyzed by the weight of possibility. Choose courageously. Choose truth. Even a trembling step toward honesty will tilt the axis of your story toward healing. If fear rises, name it. If doubt crowds your throat, speak it aloud. Naming softens what was once sharp. Call for help, ask for a hand. You are not meant to do this alone. Let others be the channels of the mercy that waits for you. And know this always, when you turn, you do not act alone. My presence strengthens you. An uncountable company rises beside you at the sound of your choice. Go now, breathe, speak, act. The mercy of God, strong and steadfast, waits to greet you.